Hey guys, Mike again, and fundamental number one. That's what we want to cover in this video. Here in just a minute, you'll get to look at fundamental number two in a separate video, but it's what we drink, and the other fundamental number two being what we eat. Now, the reason why I talk about those together at the beginning of this video is because there's some things that we need to learn, and this was an education for me. I've never really before understood the difference between a simple carb and a complex carb. And it was just a foreign language to me. Had no idea that there was a difference, didn't know what was beneficial, what wasn't beneficial. But simply put, and I talk about this with drink and food because those are the ways that we input those kind of carbs. So simple carbs, we're talking about our simple sugars, our drinks, sodas, candy, just stuff that is just straight up sugar. Okay, your body sees those things as a simple math equation. That's how Keahbone brings this to light here, and this is what made me understand it, is that simple carbs are like a simple math problem for your body. It's like 2 + 2 = 4, he says. And so when your body takes in this simple carb, it just digests it, puts it out there very quickly. The problem with that is that it quickly turns that into fat storage. And so that's bad for us. That's what we're trying to avoid. Now, a complex carb is different than that. It's more like a long division problem that you're having to work out by hand. No calculators here. And so your body needs these kind of carbs, and your body takes a little while to process those kind of carbs. And that's good news for us, and that helps us in our weight loss journey. And so you've got to have those two things in your head. That's why you can't have very much of the simple carbs, and why you're encouraged to have the complex carbs. So one's good for you, the other one is not. So with that in mind, let's get to fundamental number one, what you drink. Obviously, the star of this show is water. You have got to drink water, and lots of it. The average person gets 64 ounces. If you're doing this plan and you're just trying to maintain health, 64 ounces is what you need. That's the standard. And I know there's lots of different equations, lots of different things out there saying lots of different things, but that's what you need, 64 ounces to function just normal, okay? And for someone that is my size, somebody that is trying to shrink a little bit, it's important that we get a lot more water. And so Cody has challenged me to do 1 gallon of water every single day. Holy cow. That's a lot of agua, if you know what I mean. And so that's going to be difficult for me because I have been typically a soda guy, whether it be regular soda, diet soda, any kind of flavored drink. Man, that's my jam. And so that's what I love. So it's going to be difficult for me to break that chain, but I'm going to do it. I'm sticking to this. I'm committed to it. I'm committed to making sure that God is honored in my life in this way. I want obedience and self-control. That's what God has given me to fight this fight. And so very excited about weaning myself off of that. Diet soda, I'm having a little bit of that early in my plan, but not a whole lot. I'm going to try to wean that off and eventually get rid of it and get to some healthier options that I'll talk about in just a minute. But so for me, 1 gallon of water. For the average guy, 64 ounces of water every day. And what I didn't realize is exactly how important water is. I mean, I've heard it over and over again. Water's important, so important. But here's some reasons why. This is kind of waking me up a little bit as far as the importance of water. 70% of our bodies, water. 75% of our muscles, water. 85% of our brain cells, water. 82% of our blood, water. And so you can see that water is extremely important. Even 25% of our bones, water. So I had no idea that water was so important in our bodies. I mean, I knew it was important, but I didn't know why. And this is pretty incredible stuff that I'm learning. And this all comes from Cody's books, comes through his research, things that he's done. Incredible knowledge that's waking me up, and I appreciate it a lot. Water also is used to lubricate the joints in our bones and our bodies. Incredible. Helps with the immune system, helps with cleaning out the arteries around our heart. I mean, water is the stuff, and is able to prevent a lot of debilitating diseases. I mean, I'm looking at this list of diseases that just having plenty of water helps to avoid. We're talking about things like Alzheimer's disease, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, Lou Gehrig's, things like that. And then also, if you want luscious, beautiful skin, water is also good for that. So anyway, I'm looking forward to that. I've been kind of, getting some blemishes and whatnot. So water is extremely important. Now, some other alternatives that are actually pretty healthy for you, and in fact, quite good for you, are things like coffee and tea. Now, coffee, and this blew me away. Cody told me that coffee, if I just have 1 cup of coffee a day, that's one of the best things I can do. There's no sweetener, no additives, no preservatives, just straight up black coffee. If I have some of that a little bit every day, it's an incredible source of antioxidants, actually really good for your body. And so anyway, so I had my first cup this morning. I'll talk more about that later at the end of the day block. But anyway, so coffee, pretty good for you. You just don't want to have too much of it. You don't want to have, in fact, as you get closer to the evening time, you really want to shut that down, and it's just so that you can get better rest. And we'll talk more about that in the rest fundamental. Okay, that'd be fundamental number 4. So anyway, teas are actually pretty good for you, and make sure that you're using unsweet tea. And I'm going to be experimenting with some xylitol, which is a natural sweetener, and trying to sweeten my tea up that way because I just hate unsweetened tea. But also the hot teas. A lot of you guys like, hot teas, not hotties, but hot teas. And those are great for you. And so drink up on those deals. But remember, they do not replace water. So get your 64 ounces in, or for me, my gallon. And then on top of that, coffee, tea, and that kind of stuff. You want to avoid regular soda. You want to avoid diet soda. The sweeteners, and I'm learning, this is an education process for me, but the artificial sweeteners are terrible for your body, never intended to be there, and it's just horrible. I'm also finding out that soda in general is terrible. It's definitely a simple carb that just does nothing but work over your pancreas, work over your liver, work over your body in general, and adds a lot of fat, and that's what we're trying to get out of. And then sports drinks, a lot of people ask about sports drinks, Gatorade, things like that. Man, if you're doing an intense, high-level workout, man, drink up. But if you're just, just casual, running for a walk or something like that, Gatorade's really not too great for you unless you're just wrecking yourself. So anyway, that is fundamental number 1, what we drink. So make sure you get plenty of water. Make sure you get rid of stuff that you shouldn't have. That's the sodas, the sweetened drinks. That's the diet sodas with artificial sweeteners, things like that. But water, water, water. Peace.